My name is Bernard Cat. I'm the editor and photographer for the website known as the Photo Pit. I have with me on my right, for the way that you're looking at him, is my friend Danny Mazzio. Danny, why don't you give a little introduction of something that you dropped today? I don't know how many people would have noticed it when you put up your announcement.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Bernard. I'm here on behalf of The Threshold tonight. Formerly The Paradigm. We're doing some rebranding. We have a pretty big launch happening in the next couple of weeks, but excited to be here with you again and excited to kind of cover some of this awesome stuff that keeps on dropping, man.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. So for those of you who have been following over the last couple of days, Danny and I have been doing these little live streams in the evenings over various things, specifically focused right now on the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Maybe we might cover some other stuff for the future. Who knows? We'll see where that goes. But as of right now our focus has been on Blue Ridge. So there's been big announcements, as everyone has seen. The dates have already been dropped. That's September 8th to the 11th. Now we have a new venue it's going to be at, which is the Virginia International Raceway. Over the weekend, which really actually surprised me and caught me off guard, we got 3 artist announcements, which I thought was great. And then just today, meaning Monday, February 21st, we got 3 more. So we got 6 artists we want to talk about tonight, right? Sound good?
I think it sounds great. I'm biased. Right. And then what we didn't even get a chance to say is by the time we're done wrapping this up, word on the street is that there's going to be yet another one tonight. So they just keep on coming. They just keep coming. I'm ready. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, caught off guard with that one. I wasn't expecting that for sure. Please ignore the beeping that you may hear in the background. That's my oven going off right at the moment. So it's being handled. It's not going to just sit there all night. All right. But yeah, I want to kind of brief intro for a second. So for those who may be new to the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, who haven't followed before, if you're new to the fan zone, if you're new to joining and following my site, Blue Ridge Rock Festival's done something I had not seen any other festival do before. And it caught me off guard last year when they did this. And I kind of sat there and said, wow, this is really neat. I like this idea. The Blue Ridge Rock Festival likes to piecemeal the artist announcements. And when I say piecemeal, I mean they will start dropping them one at a time. You don't get the full lineup when you go and say, I'm going to buy my tickets right now, or at least not at this moment in time. Later on down the road, we will get the full lineup with all the artists, but they like to have the little kind of anticipations and, feelings of, oh, who's next when it comes to dropping their artists on who's confirmed for the lineup. And right now we have 6 of them we're going to talk about tonight, right? And there's, by the way, 169 of them that we're going to go through at some point. So maybe when we get the full lineup, Danny and I will do like a 3-hour live stream or something. And
I'll just spend the day, man. We'll just chat music all day. What could be better?
I'm okay with that. That sounds good to me. So in any case, so right now, over the weekend, as we said, there were 3 artists that were dropped. Today, there was 3 more. So we're going to just kind of do a quick overview of these artists, get our, we're going to give you our thoughts and takes on it, and we can talk from there. So first things first, I think this one was by far one of the kind of coolest announcements right off the gate. I think this was a great way to start, the lineup drop for the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. The band is called Kittie. For those of you who don't know, they're a heavy metal band that is out of London, Ontario. They formed back in 1996. They are, if I still remember correctly, an all-female band, which I am always a fan of supporting women in rock and metal. Thank you very much, Kittie. Their discography is actually bigger than I remembered it to be. So what we had is they have 6 albums that are out. They started with Spit, which came out in 2000, and that album was rave reviews, right? And that was the album that everyone was like,
front to back, boom.
Yeah, front to back. That was an album that people went, wow, like, who are these people? Who is Kittie? They followed up in 2001 with Oracle. 2004 was Until the End. In 2007, they did Funeral for Yesterday. They followed up with 2 more of 2009 of In the Black, and 2011 was I Failed You. And that was the last studio album that they had released at that time. So 6 albums. They had a lot of, like, it happens with bands that there's, changes and turnovers of members. They've had a lot of members that have come in and out of the band. It was, primarily Morgan Lander, who does lead vocals, Mercedes Lander, her sister, who does drums, have been the backbone of Kittie, since the very beginning. I had the chance to interview Morgan back in 2018, and that was an absolute pleasure and a thrill. For me, I love this announcement. I think this is great. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I was like, this kind of caught me off guard, it's just because the reason I say is Kittie doesn't tour much, anymore. So for the fact that Blue Ridge was able to convince him to come do a special show out here in Virginia, yeah, I'm game with that.
Now, one thing I'm gonna add regarding Kittie, and we already have Courtney Woodhead, one of our viewers right now, also made mention of it. Trish, I hope I don't mess up the last name. I think it's Doan, former bassist of Kittie.
Yep.
So she passed that at only 31. And
yeah.
And so, and I know that from that point forward, it was kind of a rocky go for them of, where are they? What are they doing? And so for me, from a nostalgia perspective of being able to see them again, because I haven't seen them since, really since 2000, but this is huge, and what I would imagine to be a really good opportunity to see kind of that legacy be carried forward.
Yep. I will say so. It was this year in 2022 that Kittie announced that they were performing in Las Vegas for another festival, which I will not mention because we're talking about Blue Ridge here. But they are performing another festival taking place in Las Vegas in October. That was like kind of the first go round. So this was really cool to see that Blue Ridge was able to kind of convince them to come out and play too. So I think that was awesome. That's great. And that, yeah. And the fact of, the loss of Trish, in 2017 when she passed away, just she was a part of the band for so long. And it's just, that's just so sad when you start to hear, when you're one of your artists that you really love, just unfortunately is gone, from our world. And, and I can understand for them, well, that's a really hard hitting figure to say, maybe that was time to just hang it up and say, we're done. But apparently they say no. So I'm glad this signing took place. This is awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. And for those of you who've never listened to Kittie, go find them somewhere on Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever streaming platform that you use. Go listen to Spit. That's the album I'd say if you're gonna go hear them at their, one of their kind of raw, not only let's say raw, one of the hardest sounds for them, and like one of that's like, it's gonna kick you in the gut type music. Go listen to Spit. You'll love them. That's my 2 cents on that. You got anything else to add there, Danny?
I don't. It's hard to be able to follow up. They came out of the gate with Kittie, and I'm like, all right, so we're already blazing. What's coming next?
Yeah, well, let's move on to what came next. And this one, I have some. I'll talk about this in a second. So next that came on the list was Lacey Sturm. For those who don't know, Lacey was the former vocalist of the rock band known as Flyleaf. Flyleaf was, to me, and at least in my generation of listening to rock and metal, was one of these like, wow, like that very first debut album they hit was fantastic, and it just had so many great songs. Yeah, her vocals are so unique to me, especially for rock and metal. I mean, I could not say enough stuff about Lacey and her talent. But she ended up deciding to go solo after 2012. That was the last album that Flyleaf had came out with. Flyleaf's 3 albums that they released, if in case you're curious, was their self-titled Flyleaf. That was in 2005. Memento Mori in 2009. New Horizons in 2012. And then after that point, Lacey decided to go solo. Her solo album, known as, let me check here where it was, Life Screams, came out in 2016. It went #1 on the Billboard US Hard Rock Album chart. Go figure that.
And it was well deserved. It was well deserved.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic album. If I remember correctly, she did a phenomenal cover of Roxanne on that album, on top of her originals. And I want to say, you're the guru here, so please correct me, but I want to say her husband is in the band as well, and they are just a power duo with what they bring. Just the amount of talent, again, is just phenomenal.
Yeah, his name is, give me 1 second here, was Joshua. They got married in 2008. But yeah, as far as I remember, that he performs with them. They did have an album that was out in 2019 called "Reflect Love Back." It was listed as "Reflect Love Back" soundtrack volume 1. So that came out in July of 2019. And she's had some singles recently that she came out with. They're not album related. In 2020 it was a song called "The Decree." 2021 it was "The State of Me," and then another song called "Awaken Love." So she's been still very active in the music industry. It may not be things that you may not listen to necessarily on the radio, but on streaming platforms for sure. And if you've never seen Lacey live, please do so, and definitely check out her set when she comes to Blue Ridge. I have something I want to share, but I can't share at this moment. I'll do it maybe at the end of the live stream when it comes to Lacey. I'll tell you one thing that just kind of my personal, I don't want to use the word connection, that's the wrong word, but my personal love of why I love the fact that Lacey's coming. Number one, she's out of Florida. She was born here in Homestead. And number two, she was the very first artist let me use the word, very first national artist I ever photographed when I started my concert photography stuff. So the fact to get another chance to photograph her again, I'm game. Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, Lacey's on. Yeah, this is a great ad. Thank you, Blue Ridge, for Lacey Sturm. I will say that. All right. What's next here? Okay, so as we were talking about these artist announcements over the weekend, there was a trend that was here. All of them were all female women in rock and metal, which once again, I remember seeing a comment somewhere from last year in the fan zone of someone saying we did not have enough female heavy metal, female rock artists. And I kind of sat back and thought about it for a second. And I think there was more than people thought there were, because I don't think people kind of looked at maybe the rising talent that was there, because there was a fair number of rising talent artists that had either female vocalists, female lead singers, they're a female band possibly. But there was a fair amount of, I thought, female artists there, that was my take. Now, when it came to national artists, that might have been different. And I kind of sat back and thought about, okay, if we look at all the national artists who came to Blue Ridge in 2021, I don't think there was as many as people hoped. So I think this is, Blue Ridge trying to compensate and make this, a more balanced, lineup, which I'm great with. That's cool. But let's talk about.
I think it's the statement. I think this goes right back to what we're saying, right? This is Blue Ridge is listening. Yes. All of these comments, all of the fan-driven experience. What is it? Well, we hear you, and you can tell that they do. It's amazing.
They do. Absolutely. Oh, quick note. Well, I want to talk about this at the end, but just remind me about it. So quick note, you want to hear when I said that they're listening? Did you see what got posted in the fan zone earlier today? Wasn't an announcement, but a poll. Did you catch the poll?
I did catch the poll.
The poll, and here's the funny part. Yeah, the poll of what are most people doing when it comes to your stay for Blue Ridge? And Danny and I were literally just talking about that at the last live stream, and I had said during the live stream, hey Todd, can we get a poll up on the fan zone just to see, because I'm kind of curious how many people are camping, how many people staying in a hotel. Yeah, well, Todd did it today. I wasn't expecting it, but there it was. So they're listening in the fan zone. Trust me. Make your comments out there. They're hearing us. All right. But artist number 3, I will. This is a bow down, Blue Ridge, because you could not have picked probably one of my most loved bands that I love of all times. Number 3's release was Butcher Babies. And if you've never seen Butcher Babies before, you are missing out. That's all I can say.
To get your mind blown. It is their energy alone is just raw and pure, and just they just bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. They are in your face, guttural screams, heavy metal all the way through, and it's just like you just can't ask for. I mean, if Eddie, because I was saying last year, I wish Butcher Babies was there in that lineup, and now here they are this year, and I'm just like, hell yeah, this is great. So let me drop some stuff about Butcher Babies for those who don't know. They're a heavy metal band out of LA in California. They have 2 front women. It's Heidi Shepard, Carla Harvey. So they both co-vocal the band, and each one of them are unique in their own way and fantastic at what they do. Their stage presence is just amazing.
They feed off each other constantly, which is just again, it's mind blowing. It's royally mind-blowing.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, totally. They got together around 2009, 2010. They had a first EP release that happened in 2012. That was a self-titled album known as Butcher Babies. Their first actual studio album was Goliath in 2013, and that is just a raw piece of work. I mean, that's a must see. That ended up hitting the Billboard charts for what's called the U.S. Heat Seeker on the Billboard. I don't know if you ever heard of that chart. That specific chart is like for bands that are fairly new that are rising quick. Like usually they're looking at artists who are new to the list, and they're watching the charts just kind of jump up. They hit the Heat Seeker at number 3 for their first debut studio album, which is just impressive onto itself. 2015, they released Take It Like a Man. That was their second studio album. They had also another EP in 2014 known as Uncovered. And then they had their most recent studio album was Lilith, and that came out in 2017. So Butcher Babies has also been on tour recently too. They went on tour last year after kind of pandemic had started to reopen up. When we started reopening up to shows again, they were out and about. And they have dropped some recent singles too. Bottom of a Bottle from 2020. There was Sleeping with the Enemy. I love that song. That came out in 2021. And then Yorktown was also another single they released in 2021. And those two, I would say go listen to those, because this is like, those songs to me are the evolution now of what Butcher Babies are changing.
Exactly where I was going to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, gosh, they're like just so one of my favorite bands to photo. They're one of my favorite bands to listen to. Absolutely love them. I'm sorry, I'm hogging. What do you got, Danny, for me about Butcher Babies?
I'm trying to keep a straight face. I'm reading the comments as we're trying to do this, and people are having a good time talking about the show with us, which is great. Seems like there's a lot of hype around Butcher Babies, which is fantastic, and there absolutely should be. But then you get some more comments that are coming in here, and it's always good to step back, because we are fans as much as we are doing this from a media perspective, and it's important to call some attention over to the fan zone. Again, we've probably mentioned that no less than 1,000 times in our couple of lives already, and I have no qualms saying it again. Blue Ridge Rock Festival fan zone. The rumor on the street from Todd Stone himself is that if this thing sells out, he's going to get a lower back tattoo.
Wow.
So unlike last year when he said he was going to get a mohawk, and
yep, I remember that.
He is all in for this lower back tattoo. Okay. So if this doesn't sell out for no reason other than that, we're going to have some conversations here.
I am going to throw down a gauntlet and say that this will sell. There's no doubt
it's
in my mind.
It's going to sell fast.
No,
it is going
there's
to
no
sell
doubt in my mind. Because here's the thing to me. If last year sold as hot as it was, right, and just already with the lineup, because let's be realistic for a second as we're talking about the lineup. And if the disembodied voice of Amanda is listening somewhere,
she's listening.
You know what I'm probably going to say. So here's the thing, and let's be realistic for a second. What they've dropped so far is probably nothing but a tease to what's coming, right? So if you already like what you've heard so far, I suspect prepare to get your mind blown away in the next couple of weeks when they start dropping headliners, because they will. We'll start hearing some of the headliners probably, I'm guessing, in a few weeks. They always do. They'll drop one or two. But like I said, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind this festival will sell out. It will. Just throwing that out there right now. So I'm calling it.
I'm right there with you. It will sell. Okay. It will sell fast.
Yeah, right there. Okay. So Butcher Babies. Cool. All right. So then we jumped. That was everything for the weekend. So now we're going to jump into what happened today, Monday. This one doesn't shock me, only because I know that they've been actively touring and around, because I think they played the Kraken Festival. I thought they did this weekend here in Orlando. They may not have. Maybe it was, but they played here in Orlando recently. So this one didn't surprise me too much. American rock band, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. So Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, once again, by the way, Florida band, just saying.
You keep throwing this, but why are they all coming to Virginia?
That's because that's where the venue is.
It's the place to be. Virginia is for lovers, and it is the place to be. It's going to be a wonderful time.
I hear you. So they formed back. The Red Jumpsuit's kind of interesting to me, because now we're starting to see, as they even said, a little bit more of the, can I call it the Warped Tour side in a sense, right? The not
they referenced it as well. I mean, I would say that's fair.
Yeah, so this is kind of more like, your alt rock, your alt metal. They even reference emo, and I'm not sure with Red Suit if I would go that far, but I understood what their views were. But they are.
And you look at the first three, and then you look at Red Jumpsuit, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, wow, now all of a sudden we are really broadening what this festival is going to be.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And kudos to them for doing that, because I think you need do you need to have a mix of stuff? No, I think it's nice. I like it. I like the idea of seeing this. So that works for me.
But I gotta ask, did you read the whole announcement about Red Jumpsuit Apparatus?
Now you're going to make me go over to Facebook and go look, because
I'll save you some time. If I saw correctly, they were going to be one of the acoustic sets that will be happening. And so again, part of the Blue Ridge experience is there's going to be exclusive acoustic sets, and I saw that as part of the announcement that was out there. So which I thought was really going to be pretty cool.
So, but the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, the acoustic set was only for the VIP. Is that correct? Right?
You're correct.
Okay. So. Right. So that's that whole Rockstar package that Blue Ridge is offering. It's, you have your VIP experience, your tent, your viewings, your, potential meet and greets, and
there's VIP and there's Rockstar. They're not both.
Oh, they're separate. My bad. Sorry.
Those are separate. So it's not like you got just a few people. So I mean, it should still have a pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
But either way, it's kind of that teasing intro of some of this other experiences that we're here to talk about. So I'm pretty pumped to see where they're going with that. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Red Suit. So they have started around 2003. Let's see here, 5 albums they released. Don't You Fake It, which is probably their most popular one that people will know them for, that came out in 2006. That was, I'm trying to see here what they listed. That had the lead single called Face Down, which I think that's like the one that most people would know if you've ever heard it before. Yeah. False Pretense, Your Guardian Angel were also the singles off that album. But besides that was in 2006. They had Lonely Road in 2009, Am I the Enemy in 2011, Number 4, like literally the number 4, which was their 4th album in 2014. And they had The Awakening in 2018. So they're still very active. They're still touring. I know they came down here just recently to Orlando. Unfortunately, I missed that show. But yeah, I mean, this is a band that's definitely going to be a different blend of music for those who are interested in that, and at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. So cool. I like it. It's a good deal. Works for me. You have anything you want to add about Red Jumpsuit?
I don't. I have not seen them before, so I'm actually pretty excited about getting a chance to see them finally.
I haven't either, so they'll have to go on the list. You know what my lineup is going to look like again? Did you see my board last year when everyone was like highlighting their preferences? So I did my preference of which bands I have photographed before and which I hadn't, seeing like, could I actually do all 150? Would that even be feasible? I'd be a little crazy.
Seeing how heated people get about who's going to see who, when, and how is, to me, that's half the fun. It's half the fun.
It is. Hey, I wonder if John's listening, could I possibly get some way I could shoot all 169? That would be great. Just saying. A personal goal. Just going to throw that out there. That's all I'm saying. All right. Any case, let's see here. So today's second announcement. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second because this one made me go one of those. I think what this is going to start showing people is, because there had been talks, with the stages and what was coming, that there was potentially, we're going to have like some different blend of alt, but we're also going to have some different blend of heavy. And I think this is kind of like the first showing of when they talk about heavy,
what we mean with heavy.
Yeah, when I say heavy, I mean heavy because the band that they dropped today at number 5, this is our number 5 artist, was Suicide Silence. I've seen them before. I've photographed them. I've met Mark, who's I can't remember. I think he's bassist, if I remember correctly. lead guitarist for Suicide Silence. Nice guy, by the way. Great person. But my gosh, yeah, these are the guys that are going to really Butcher Baby has that heaviness to them. Suicide Silence has that as well, but I think they kind of crank it up a little more. They're listed as kind of like a deathcore band. That's the type of metal that they bring to the stage. Let me put it this way. If you're looking for what bands am I looking for to mosh to, this is your band. Right? I mean, it is. I mean, I'm sorry, it is. Suicide is one of those
spot
bands.
on.
Yeah, they're one of those bands that I'm just like, even as much, I don't do moshing anymore. I'm too old for that stuff. But even if I felt the urge to do it, they would probably be one of the bands I would go do it with.
I respect that. And now we're on a recorded video about this.
Yes.
So,
yeah, which I will ignore and deny later. So, no, I won't do moshing. Sorry. Too old for that. Let's talk a little bit about them, just some background history. They started in 2002. They're from Riverside, California. They have 5 studio albums and an EP. Those albums are as follows. The Cleansing, it came out in 2007. No Time to Bleed in 2009. The Black Crown in 2011. You Can't Stop Me in 2014. Suicide Silence, their self-titled album in 2017, which is the one that I heard most of the songs off of when I first got introduced to them. Killer stuff. And then Become the Hunter in 2020. So they've recently even still had dropped. Who were they? I'm trying to remember. Unfortunately, they were recently on tour with someone, and sadly, me does not recall off the top of my head who they were on tour with.
It's supposed to be the guru here, so
this
falls on you.
Sorry. It does. Tell me what you got about these guys, though, and I'll figure that out.
Personally, I'll be honest, I have not heard enough of them to be as gung-ho as you are, but I've heard enough of them to say that is a yes. I will be at that stage, and my old ass is going to be out there also saying, I'm too old for this, but I will be the one, too bad, I'm still too old for this, I'm in the pit anyway.
That's hilarious.
No hard feelings, Bernard. No hard feelings. I love it.
No. I don't take any hard feelings to that at all. God, it's gonna bug me. I could figure that out. Someone who's watching, see if you know.
Here we go. So Courtney again. So they played NOLA in December. Put on a great show with All Hail the Yeti and Ginger.
And who? All Hail the Yeti and who else?
Ginger.
You cut out there. I didn't hear you.
Ginger.
Oh, why you're half cutting out like that last word. Ginger. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was like, that was weird. It was like cutting out. Like who? What? They're with Ginger. Oh, that's a good. Why didn't I get them when Ginger played here? Now I'm upset. That's not fair. Thank you, Courtney, once again. But I'm wild for this one. Yep, all good. I'm in. All right, last one. So this is the one that was today, the most recent one. They dropped this announcement at 8. Let's if you don't know, here I'll give you some hints. Crazy Bee apparently is their most famous and well-known single. And if you don't know that song, then you probably don't know this band. But the band who has just got announced at number 6 is Buckcherry. So this one's a very, how do I want to define this? Because Buckcherry's been around just for me, forever. I've seen them multiple times at shows. They put on a great live performance, number 1. They have a ton of great singles, number 2.
They are a party band.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of want to say yes, but I don't want to put a stigma on them for that.
That's fair. But, yeah. So I'll clarify then, right? So this is a band that you can't help but move to.
Yes.
They want a party in the atmosphere where we're all just here to have fun, and we're gonna have fun. So let's make it a party.
I agree with that.
So their energy. Josh Todd is the lead singer, if I remember correctly, and his stage persona reminds me a fair amount of the Scott Weilands and even the Mick Jaggers, of just the kind of the odd dancing to himself, but feeling the music.
Yeah. And
And you can tell when somebody's feeling it versus just up there and rocking the stage. And this man just feels that vibe for the whole show. So if you can't tell, I'm stoked for them. I remember when Lit Up came out. You know, I was in high school. Lit Up came out, and I thought that song was the greatest thing until my mom started yelling at me for listening to songs about cocaine. So, you know, it's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other story.
It's a whole other story. But again, great band. I've seen them a number of times, and they've never let down.
No,
so that's what I've got. I'll turn it over to you and your comments because, again, I'm biased. I love them.
No, and I think you're absolutely right. You know, this is a band who does a great live performance. They're so into their music. They're so into the fans. You know, the more energy the fans are going to bring, the more they're going to bring to the stage too. So here's just some basic backgrounds. 1995 out of Anaheim, California. They had tons of albums that came out so far. This is their current discography. Buckcherry, their self-titled album, came out in 1999. Man, I feel old saying that, right? 1999. Time Bomb
picking that CD up from Best Buy for $6.99. Oh, God, it was awesome.
Let's see. Time Bomb came out in 2001. 15 came out in 2005. Black Butterfly was 2008. All Night Long in 2010. Confessions in 2013. Rock and Roll 2015. Warpaint 2019. And most recently, when I say recent, I mean like recently in 2021, they had their last album called Hellbound. And they are actively on tour. And let me tell you, when we talk about a band that likes to tour, Buckcherry, you could throw them on the list because they must have had like a 40-city stop when they went on tour and then added another leg to it on top of that. Like, these guys like to be on the road. You can tell. I mean, it's just they are so wanting to be in front of fans without a doubt in the world. I have a complaint, though. And this is a personal one, and I don't know, but I'm going to complain about something for a second. So when I saw the announcement for Buckcherry, I was like, that's awesome. And they bleeped out part of that most famous song, and I don't know why. Why couldn't we use the word? That's all I'm gonna say. And for those who are wondering, the song's called Crazy Bitch. So, and maybe it's a family-friendly thing, but I'll say it because it's a word and it's part of the song. So, you know, I was kind of wondering when I saw that, you know, Blue Ridge had bleeped that out a little bit. I'm like, okay. It's like, but this is their song. I mean, that's their song. Like, if you don't know that song, yeah, it's their song. It is
their song.
I mean,
I think it's a valid point. It is a valid complaint. I'll side with you on that. But yeah, I can't begin to speculate the whys or the whys nots. And
maybe it's the family friendly thing. I don't know, but I'm like, if we're going to pay homage to this band, can we at least just use their full title in print? You know, instead of like, you know, asterisking the words. Sorry, and Amanda's probably gonna hate me for saying it, but that's just my honest opinion about it. So, I mean, come on, man. Like, I sung this song at karaoke because that's how much I love this band.
Now I'll give some kudos here. Our viewers. So Facebook algorithm potentially. So
okay.
Our video is probably going to get pulled here in the next 20.
Whatever.
But Facebook algorithm is what it's being chalked up to. So, and Christina's suggesting that Zuck may not be a fan of Blue Ridge, so I would like to personally invite him to Blue Ridge because I think he would have a great time.
I think
with 169 bands, guaranteed he will like at least one of them.
Who wouldn't have a great time? That's all I'm saying.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Come on. So, all right. With that being said, so that's all the artist announcements that we've had so far. I want to talk about, though, the little hint that was dropped, and I'm gonna. He's like, oh, it's gonna bug me because I don't think Blue Ridge put it on their page, but they did put it on their. I want to say it was in their Instagram. I want to say. So those of you don't know, there was a hint that got dropped about. I don't remember even specifically it was an artist announcement, but there were three particular key phases or key phrases that was used in that story. Those three, if I can remember correctly, was it was a great mistake, hurricane, and these are like in capitalized, like they were capitalized in some fashion, and king for a day. So to me, and I'm just speculating here, I don't know anything. My speculation, because other fans have already jumped around it, but I'm going to bring it up and talk about it anyway. So my guess is that the three bands that they're talking about is Ice Nine Kills, because A Great Mistake is one of their songs. I Prevail, because Hurricane is one of their songs. And I know there's other bands that have it, like Scorpions got brought up. I'm kind of on the fence about that. I mean, that's rocky like a hurricane. I mean, but I could see maybe the potential there for that to be. Who knows? So we'll see. But I don't know. But then the last one, King for a Day, I think was Pierce the Veil. That's my guesses. So those are some hints. So keep those in mind. If you see an artist announcement and they get dropped, then we've kind of called it out with all the rest of the fans too. I can't say I said it first because there's like 32 other thousand people who've said similar things. So, but those are just my guesses. I'm going to throw those out there just as potentials. So we'll say I would be perfectly okay with all three of them, because I missed Ink when they played 2021. I can't remember who else I was shooting at that time, but I didn't get a chance to photograph them. I've done them before, but I'd love another chance to go see them again. I Prevail was my band I was not missing. Should I tell this story, Danny, about I Prevail?
Go for it.
So in 2019, when I Prevail went on tour for their, was that their second album, third album that they had released?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
like they had just made it.
Yeah,
like,
it was like this broke them out.
Yeah,
that album just absolutely broke them out. And I could not make the Orlando show because I was in Indianapolis at the time when they came through. And then COVID hit. And then they weren't touring at all. And I was like, I cannot miss an opportunity for this band. So when they when they were on the lineup for 2021, I did, anything I could to ensure that my outlet got approved, which we did, thankfully. And with me, there was no way in hell I was missing that set that day. And we went in there, and it was just incredible. They only gave us 2 songs, so security pulled us out from the URW stage because they said it was getting too crazy in it, which I was like, dudes, but whatever, So, yeah. So if they're back again, I'm okay with this. That's just saying. Pierce the Veil would be a nice add, too. They kind of fit. I'm trying to think like where they fit, because they do kind of fit on that Warped Tour vibe, of a stage for that.
Later Warped Tour.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say they're not quite the same like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus style, but they've done Warped Tour before. It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I call them rock. I mean, I don't know what to call them rock. I think I'd still call them metal. But they kind of fit like Falling in Reverse. Like they fit like that vibe.
I think it's a really good comparison from a genre perspective.
Yes, even though there's connections obviously between the two bands, but they were just like first thing I thought. So. But yeah, so so if you guys saw that story, those are my guesses of what that meant, but I don't know. So I'm just speculating like everyone else is, because it's fun to do that. So, but that's what we have released for tonight with artist announcements. There was the little hints that were dropped. And what was there was some rumor that there may be more tonight. Was that the rumor? I think somebody had said.
The rumor is that there's supposed to be at least one more tonight. So if they go more than that at this point, I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly. Just, I think it was being posted in the fan zone that the moment artist announcements start, it's gonna be a floodgate, man. And
good.
We were speculating that they weren't going to be doing any artist announcements over the weekend, and here we are. So
and I'm good with this. So we'll see where it goes.
Confirmed, they've got one more at 10.
Someone confirmed that? Okay.
Yep.
One more 10. Well, we're not staying until 10. I'm sorry, guys.
Nope. No, but I can only take so much of you, Bernard. No disrespect, sir.
Wow. Now, I can understand that coming from my family sitting over there, but not from you, dude. That's wrong. So wrong. So, anyone who's been watching the live stream have any questions, things they want us to talk about real quick or whatever?
I'm skimming through the comments as they're coming in. There's some remarks about Thrice also has a song called Hurricane. That would be a fun show to see. So I can definitely see that. Apparently you and I are being compared to Kelly and Regis. So
that's hilarious. I must be Regis for sure. I don't have the looks to be Kelly Ripa.
Amanda does have a very serious question, and she's asking somebody to bring her coffee. So, why she wants us to announce that question is beyond me.
Somebody bring Amanda coffee, please.
Yeah. Like, for real. And
maybe
we want to
Amanda
keep her
one
in
day
good
will
graces.
actually join us. Amanda. Just saying.
Please. What do you think? Yeah.
She should. She should. Any case.
So Brian Francis is saying, what about the old 80s band Hurricane?
Oh,
that's a drop, man.
Yeah,
that is a drop.
That's a thought. Are they
now?
Still active?
I'm biased towards Brian because Brian's one of my partners.
Okay.
So this dude's got some trivia and some music inventory in that brain of his. So to see him pull the band Hurricane, why we didn't think of that is beyond me. But he's on it.
Yeah, that is I don't know. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Are they even still active though? Maybe that's one.
But do they have to be for Blue Ridge?
Oh, good point, because we still have 11, right? 11 more artists that need to be dropped.
Reunions.
So,
yeah.
So,
it's just kind of icing on the cake of you don't know around here, which is fantastic.
I love the you don't knows. I love the speculations that are always going through the fan zone of
that's right.
What means. Yeah. Hey, the one I want people to speculate on. Throw us your comments because I'm curious. Who's the farewell tour? That's my question.
That is a great question. Please.
I can give you one honest answer because there's only one right now that is ongoing, which is Kiss. Yep. Right now. But as somebody pointed out in one of the fan zones today, like they've been on like a farewell tour since like 2019 at this point. But I mean, Slayer took 2 years to do theirs too. So there's my question for people in the fan zone, for those watching now. Who's the farewell tour? I want to hear guesses. I'm curious.
Got a Kid Rock is a guess.
Okay. I don't see him retiring anytime soon. That's my personal opinion. He needs the money. Sorry, did I say that out
loud? Black Sabbath, Kiss. We got some guesses coming in.
I'll throw you another one because people will like this one. I'll throw you another one. The Who. Ooh. The Who is back on tour.
That's right.
This year. So maybe it's a farewell tour. They didn't mention that. That hasn't been stated, but I don't know. Just a hunch. Speculation.
That is a good one. Let's see. Hurt. I haven't heard much from them in quite a while, so I don't know if that would be a farewell or just a reunion. But it's
more of a reunion. It's not. It may not be a bad one. I mean,
you mentioning the Who, that's one of those bands that I immediately hear and I go somewhere in my head. So I saw them. They closed out a festival in Baltimore. I couldn't tell you when. It was maybe 2007, 2008, somewhere around then. And, just that kind of talent on the guitar and that kind of stage presence. Yeah, you got lights, you got a little bit of production, but they just rocked.
Yeah.
And that was an experience.
I am sad to say I've not seen them live yet. Hopefully I'll fix that this year. We'll see. We shall see. So
there a lot of fun with the Who. Now questioning if we're referencing the Hue.
Oh.
Two separate bands, two slightly separate sounds.
The Hue is retiring now.
I doubt they will be retiring anytime soon.
Anytime soon. No. They're on tour again too, by the way. They're making their way around the US.
They sure are.
Yeah, that'll be good. That's a great show. Yeah, I had a lot of fun at their set. I remember standing there in the shooting at the URW stage, and I literally stopped and kind of put my camera down for a second, watching all of it, going, "What is this?" And I love it. So
it was really cool to take that in.
Great.
It was really great. Well, I would say it's a great question to leave for tonight, and let them keep asking some questions if they have. So apparently these comments are getting read, if not, at least by us. So we have more content to talk about.
Yay! So. All right. So I guess we'll call it a wrap for tonight. So, but just as a reminder, once again, of course, we'll always do the plug. Blue Ridge Rock Festival, September 8th through the 11th of 2022. It's going to be at the Virginia International Raceway. 169 bands in total, 5 stages, 12 reunions, and sadly, one farewell band that's coming. We just still don't know who that is. We have one of the 12. Kittie was one of the 12 for reunion bands. So hopefully we'll get some more soon. I'm kind of curious to see who the rest of them are. But yeah, keep with us. Danny and I are going to do this at least once a week. We'll probably think we'll do this on Monday nights. That'll be a good time because it'll give us a chance to get all the artist announcements throughout the week, and any over the weekend, and we'll just compilate them all together and then talk about them on Mondays. And, so come back, stay with us. And we appreciate you even coming to watch them. Like, we appreciate it. Thank you, Danny, once again for your help with the comments and whatnot. Always appreciate your time and the insults too, because I love you, brother. And, and keep an eye out for everyone for Danny's new outlet being called The Threshold. And I think we should start calling him Danny Threshold. That's just my opinion. And,
bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. So keep an eye out for that. Help support them too, because I always will, because, it's fun stuff. Also, keep your eye out for the photo pit for some upcoming concert stuff. I'll finally have out my Kill Switch Engage tour photos and review. That was much longer to write than I expected it to be. And so were the photos. It was insane. I have a lot of content in there. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. So that's going to come out soon. I also recently covered Styx. That was last night at Universal Studios. That was a great show. And then coming this Friday, I'm going to be covering Daughtry with Tremonti at Hard Rock at Universal. That's going to be a show.
And I'm going to go ahead and give you a shout because you did an amazing review of Tool.
Thank
with
you.
Some incredible shots of an incredibly difficult band to shoot.
You don't even know the stuff I went through to get those photos to look the way they do.
So absolutely no qualms. Guys, check out the photo pit. Bernard does some great work and he even puts up with me. So
Thank you,
I'd
sir.
call that
Appreciate
a win all around.
All right. Thank you much. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us once again tonight. We will hopefully speak with you next Monday. If we do something sooner, once again, as we always do, we'll post it in the fan zone. I'll post it on my page. Danny will post it on his, and we'll promo in advance, when we're going to go live again. But otherwise, expect to come back with me around this time, around 8:30 every Monday night. And we'll keep this going as long as people keep watching. Plain and simple. We'll go from there. All right. Well, Danny, thanks again. And we will talk to everyone soon.
Thank you.